So the thing that is most critical in any new home construction is going to be the cleanliness of the work area in which will be provided to your trade partners. This allows for a safe, clean, and effective working environment. And one of the areas that we find that the lot is the messiest and most difficult to deal with is right after foundation. Let's get to it. So the first item we'll notice after concrete is that we've excavated a fair amount of dirt, and ultimately between the footings, stem, and all of our plumbing, we have to basically flatten out all this area around the house. Now, our concrete company typically isn't a grading company, and they're not going to get us to the final grade. They'll clean up the lot similar to what we'll see over here, where they'll flush everything out so that we don't have mounds of dirt that are creating issues for our framing company. But typically we have to take it the next step, get a grading company out here and do a rough grade around the lot to ensure that everything's flat and workable for our next stage, which is going to be framing. In addition to that, concrete can be a messy business, and we're going to have a fair amount of concrete chunks and additional washout that's occurred on the lot. And our concrete company is going to typically take that off-site. We also have additional substrate, whether that be AB or dirt that I mentioned previously. And we're lucky enough on this lot that we over-X'd in some of the areas, so we'll be able to actually spread some of the additional dirt work into the rear of the lot and still keep our retention basin as needed by the city of Phoenix. But let's talk about some of the things that we do to try to get this lot prepped for the next stage of the project. So when you're in construction and a GC, it's always good to know the companies that have all the toys. And although it's often difficult to get our pad certification guys, the people that are doing our demo and our initial pad to come out and do the work, we have a few additional companies local that are typically in operation that have either a skid steer, a Gannon, a Mini X that allows us to be able to get a rough grade in place to flatten out the lot for material deliveries and for easy workability around the house. So the first thing that we'll do next Monday is we'll go ahead and we'll mark on our stem the various heights that we want to have for our rough grading. And what this will allow is to ensure that we don't create pockets up against the stem, especially during monsoon season, so that everything essentially flows away from the property, that we have flat surfaces for our scaffolding that will come in place as we move out of framing and start working through our dry-in process with our foam and lath. But in addition to that, we want to create some clean working spaces for a lot of the contractors that come in and out of this property. So one of the areas that we found that makes a huge difference in our work environment is to go ahead and dig appropriately for any of the hardscaping that we have coming towards the end of the project. So as you can see here, even though this will not be poured with our foundation, so in a few of the areas, we're gonna wanna over-X to the appropriate depth and then get a compaction in for all of our AB. And in this, the back patio, we have an acid wash concrete. Now we obviously don't wanna pour this with slab, but because we already had some extra AB, we went ahead and we compacted it at the height that we need. We'll go ahead and stick a form board along these two stem walls here for our exits, and this will create a compacted, clean working environment, reduce the amount of mud that tracks in and outside the house, provide our framers and any other trades such as our finished carpenters a flat surface to be able to work on throughout the course of construction. So what exactly does it take to be able to get this detail to come together? So one of the things that we want to do to make this very easy for our grading company is we'll come and we'll mark the stem. So in the front here, we're going to be at 9 inches on our stem. We have a minimum of 6 inches exposed, and we are going to have probably about 2 inches of rock fill. So at this point, we'll have 7 exposed, and we'll run all the way to the back corner where all our retention is, and we'll go ahead and we'll put a mark there at about 12 inches so that when we have that 2-inch fill, we have a 7 to 10 inch drop so that all of our drainage goes to the appropriate retention basins. In addition to that, we'll look at some of the areas around the entrance and any of the patio spaces around the house. We'll go ahead and we'll excavate appropriately, get that AB in, get a form board in, and it will really make a difference throughout the course of this project to keep it clean, to make sure that drainage is happening appropriately throughout the course of construction, as well as many other benefits of keeping a happy job site. We appreciate you following along. We hope that you enjoy this tip and feel that if you integrate it into your custom home build, that you're gonna have a lot happier trades coming in and out of your job site. Hit that subscribe button below, and as always, have a great day.